What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and beautiful people of the Crasher community? How are you guys doing today? So I'm here to respond with my thoughts regarding the interview ZöeTwoDots had with the director of Pokémon GO, Michael Steranka. The interview itself is rather long, so to save ourselves from having to deal with a long video that addresses every single little twist and turn, I'm going to be addressing the biggest standouts here, as well as giving a general response to this interview. The link to the interview will be in the description down below for those that need more context. So right out of the gates, Zoe ends up asking Michael, does Niantic listen to its player base? Right out of the gates too, like holy moly. Talk about getting right to the point. Michael effectively responds with the typical drone-like response, and I quote, Niantic does listen to its player base, and we use a team that gathers feedback from a diverse group of players. I swear to God, if we were playing a drinking game about how many times diverse was mentioned in that first question, I would have liver damage. It's funny you mention and throw around diversity like it's no one's business, yet the exclusive actions and state of the game, especially as of late, is the antithesis of diverse. The exclusion of certain groups and demographics of players go against diversity, as this game isn't just played by big city goers and able-bodied players. This game is played by those who have obstacles, who live in the middle of nowhere, who have their challenges and disabilities. It's not just outside the game that I take issue with, but in-game too, where there's also a diversity problem with the spawns, as it's literally the same shit, different piles every damn day. So there's not only the problem of contradicting diversity outside the game, but in-game too, Michael. Now look, I can at least try to understand why Niantic would want to avoid social media and hearusniantic, as social media can be an echo chamber at times. But you're also talking about a company that runs a game that is designed for phones and other mobile devices. And what do phones have? Internet and social media apps. So why wouldn't Niantic want to take most of their feedback from social media when social media is very much part of our daily lives? You know what I'm saying? It's just straight up disheartening. And here's the thing as well, Michael, is that the sentiments that you see online are some of the same sentiments that in-person communities have also shared. So if you're avoiding taking criticism from the social media audience, you're also avoiding taking criticism from the in-person audience as well. Now, fortunately, Michael Steranka does agree that communicating more is very important, even for valid criticisms. It's just unfortunate that actions do speak louder than words, and I say that because while I definitely agree and live and die by the notion that actions do speak louder than words, the actions as of late when it comes to the state of Pokemon Go is not exactly something that tells everyone a good story. It doesn't communicate good things to the community. Now, regarding the remote raid pass limits and price changes, it basically sums up to stop being lazy and using your cash to get what you want. So, if you're disabled, I guess you don't matter in Niantic's eyes, in which you pay the ultimate price of being excluded, or you end up being forced to quit. Now, yes, that might be harsh to say, but that's essentially what it sounds like here. That is essentially the vibe that I'm getting here. And it's effectively being reiterated because apparently Niantic doesn't know how to incentivize players into going into real events. I can tell you one thing that would. Make your events work properly with zero issues. Stop nerfing your events, especially for Community Day. Incentivize your players by giving them more rewards when they go out, rather than trying to nerf and take away from those that don't go out or can't go out for any reason. Like if there was a Community Day event that revolved around a really solid coveted Pokemon like Larvesta or a pseudo-legendary Pokemon, then make it substantially easier to get. I'm not saying to get a shiny out of every 10 encounters, but increase the rates enough so that players aren't getting demoralized and they are being incentivized to go out and participate in the Community Day event, because Community Days are effectively a really good concept but they do have poor execution at times. Or let's say there's a raid event for something like, we'll say Shadow Lugia, and people are unable to do the raid event due to the bugs. Why would anyone want to stick around in person when things like this happen almost every time? Do you guys not run tests prior to releasing events? Like, cause that is honestly something that I am really concerned about here. But Michael, let me just say this in the most simplistic way possible. Quite literally improving the product in a positive way and ensuring that the game works as intended is what will make your Pokemon Go players happy. So that wraps up things here on my end personally. Niantic, it really isn't hard to improve your product. You have the money, you have the means, just do it. Now before I end the video, I also want to include feedback from various other members in the Pokemon Go community. Starting off, we have ourselves Arcade Guy 781 saying the following: my suggestions to make the game more accessible and keep their mission alive. 1. Reduce the cost of in-person raids to 80 coins for 1 and 125 for 3. Number 2. Reduce the remote raid passes back to 2020-2021 prices with no limit. Number 3. Incense spawns 1 Pokemon every 1 minute 30 seconds to every 2 minutes while stationary, 1 minute for Meltan and Gimmighoul. Number 4, at least 1 rare XL candy for completing in-person raids on top of the 3 XLs for legendary and 3 XL for catching, 7 XL candies. Remote raiders still receive 3 XL for catching tier 5 Pokemon. 5. Reduce the amount of kilometer for legendary/mythical Pokemon to get an XL candy to 10 kilometer without a Poffin/excited. 6. At least 1 guaranteed XL candy for walking with your buddy. Number 7. No limits for how many remote raids you can do a day with no damage nerfs. Number 8. Have weekly events that feature boosted spawns of rare Pokemon in parks. Larvesta, Salandit, Larvitar, Lucario, Chansey, etc. 9. More roaming legendary Pokemon. Number 10. Introduce 20-kilometer eggs that hatch legendary/mythical Pokemon. I believe that these suggestions will be excellent for the game and make the game more accessible in the process. Hashtag hearusniantic, John Hankey, Michael Steranka. We love the world that you created and we want the game to continue to thrive, but we want you to work with us and not against us. Very well said, my friend. Very freaking well said. Next, we have Darla Ha saying, I truly appreciate Zoe taking her time to do this interview, but all I'm getting from the notes I've read from people who've sat through his 1.5 hour gaslighting BS is that they just don't give a flying duck about anyone who can't play in alliance with their mission. And to be honest with you, that is also another big issue that I have with this interview, is that a lot of it seems to come off as very, we'll say, manipulative and gaslighting, which is never a good thing. Artemis Dragon hashtag hearusniantic says, this is why people won't get off their couch. Who the hell would go out to raid for Regigigas and catch these overly common Pokemon? The problem is that Niantic has made Go stale for the able-bodied. Improve that, bring back the COVID bonuses, and everyone wins. Hashtag hearusniantic. And as we see here in the imagery, yeah, we can definitely see that these are not good spawns. These are the opposite of treasure, if you know what I mean. Next, we have Sue tweeting out, my takeaways on the interview answers in brackets angry face, and my responses to those answers in brackets sad face, and attached to the tweet is an image that reads the following. Because I'm unable to play Pogo when Niantic thinks I should, I'm an attorney with a family and work 12-hour days, Pogo is simply not for me. I should pick up a Pokemon game on the Switch instead. Human nature dictates that people are lazy, and if not for Niantic's remote raid nerf, people would remain on the couch. Without remote raid nerfs, people wouldn't get human interaction. It's hard working on a game like Pokemon Go. In-person raiding is good. Remote raiding means you're sitting on your couch. we should take a leap of faith because Niantic has our best interests at heart. I shouldn't play a mobile game on my own phone because I work long hours? Unacceptable answer. Pogo is a game, it's not a self-help app to change behavior. There is literally no proof for the conclusory statement that people wouldn't leave their couches if Niantic didn't nerf remote raids. Niantic has already confirmed that whales, why use such a pejorative term for fans who want to spend their hard-earned money on your game, Niantic, make up a tiny percentage of the player base. People who want to get together to raid in person find a way to get together to raid in person. Our local crew has always raided together because we genuinely enjoy each other's company, and we work hard to make sure no raider is left behind, even if they can't leave their homes. Many of us work at jobs that are hard, but we don't say the quiet part out loud. We just do our work to obtain the best results. In-person raiding is good, but so is raiding with your remote and international friends when your kids are asleep or you don't drive, or whenever is convenient for you. Life cannot revolve around a game. Any game. Niantic has broken their promises to their player base. Once trust has been broken, it needs to be earned back. And with that statement right there are a lot of pretty solid points to take away from that. Holy moly, Sue, you definitely knocked that one out of the park. So there's definitely a lot to take away from this interview, and a lot of it isn't good. Not just in terms of what is said, but how it's said and the vibes in general. Like, I take issue with a lot of what is said, but the condescending way things were said and worded, the overall gaslighting, the broken promises, the ignorance, the exclusions of the online/remote communities that were fostered from raids and love of Pokemon Go, and much more. Michael, I really tried to be charitable with you here, but this interview doesn't do you any favors here, and has thus earned you the hot seat for some in terms of criticism. Now, with that said, I disavow legit harassment and threats, so please do not do that here, guys. But Michael, do not be surprised if you have more fans angry with you and disappointed as a result of this interview. And that's it here for the video, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys think about this by leaving your thoughts and opinions down below. Thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for your time as well in viewing this video. Have yourself a damn good one, you beautiful people. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will see you next time.